Right. I'll give you the truth about what really went down, but here's Jackie's version.
Hey, I want to back you up on this one, because this one made me really...
Yeah, this is crazy.
This got you upset.
Yeah, this got me nuts.
It's got nothing to do with me. I just happened to be there for a conversation Howard had.
When I first started the show, Howard said, hey, I got great news for you. Don's going to represent you if you want.
I never said to him, I've got great news for you. Here's the truth, and you can listen to this. Jackie was being represented by his wife. Things were going horribly. Mel wanted nothing to do with Jackie. He said to me, I don't want anything to do with this guy and his wife.
And he was supposed to talk to his wife?
That's how bad things were.
And he was talking to his wife.
I don't know who he was talking to, but I don't know. Things were just going wrong, and the company was getting rubbed the wrong way by Jackie. Even when people want more money, I guess there's a certain way of doing things. I suggested to Jackie maybe not use his wife as an agent. And he said, no, my wife's not my agent. I said, look, you gotta get somebody. If you would like, I'll call Don Buchwald. If you'd like that. I never said, hey, good news.
Right.
No, I didn't care who represented Jackie. As long as he got somebody
who wouldn't screw up things.
Who wouldn't make management go, we want this guy out. Like, they were like, listen.
Because there was a general attitude from that negotiation on
they didn't
that
like
nobody
Jackie.
wanted Jackie around.
Yeah. And I'm not even blaming his wife, Nancy, because you know what? Now that I think about it, by the way, I don't think she was talking about.
She wasn't.
What was happening was, if I remember correctly, and I forget how it happened, but maybe Jackie and Mel were dealing directly with each other. But Mel was kind of like, and Tom and everyone, not just Mel, everyone. Just came to me privately and said, look, we don't like this guy.
Right.
We think he's bad news. I said, he's a nice guy. They go, for whatever reason, he's coming off horrible. Just as a human being. I said, okay. So I went to Jackie and said, maybe it shouldn't be you doing things.
Right.
Maybe you should get somebody. I said, if you want, I'll call Don Buchwald. I need good news, Jackie. By the way, Don was not looking to represent Jackie. Don's business has done just fine without Jackie. There's not a whole lot of money in the Jackie business for Don.
There really is, by the way, in any negotiation, when the person goes in to represent themselves, it just never works because you need somebody to be a buffer.
Right.
Because you can't say, well, when you say, listen, this is what I'm worth, people look at you a different way. So you just suggested to Jackie, in general, maybe it's not the best idea you represent yourself.
That's what it was. It wasn't his wife.
Well, she was representing him in the comedy circuit,
which was fine, and I didn't care, but I just said to him, maybe you need to get advice from a professional.
But I know you said, get anybody if you'd like, because I was there. If you'd like, I would introduce you to Don.
You were there in the room.
And I introduced me, not I can get Don to represent you.
No, but Jackie's saying that Howard said, good news, Don's going to represent you. As if you were pushing it. Yeah. And Jackie always had this
conspiracy
theory, collusion.
Yeah, here you go. Listen to this.
And I said no, because it didn't make sense to me that if they're going to pay Howard, and then they're going to pay Robin, and then they're going to pay Fred, so I'm going to be the fourth bird in line for a worm. It seems like, how could you...
You know, see, that
I didn't seem
comfortable. The way you did it, I look at you as fourth bird in the line. Whereas if you'd have been with Team Don, it would have been Howard and then the three of you. Like, I always wondered why you weren't just part of that, so you didn't have to do your own negotiating. Were you worried he wouldn't take care of you the way you could yourself?
It just didn't, it seemed weird. He'd be negotiating with himself. Don, it just didn't, my cousin.
How would Don be negotiating by?
You know what I
know? I know why.
Wait a minute. The first statement is, I didn't think.
Yeah.
Now, all of his thoughts have led to this.
Yeah, all of his thoughts led to ultimately him being out of work.
And he's still standing by them.
Yeah, he loved it. He doesn't do any self-examination.
I know the answer.
I was a pro ball player, and he said that an agent in baseball can't represent more than one agent or more than one player on a team.
Have you ever heard of that before? That's bullshit.
No.
Hey, there are agents who represent many.
There's some agents who have almost the entire league locked up.
Scott Boras had everybody.
Baseball, an agent can't represent more than that.
Well, first of all, this isn't baseball. Baseball is like a monopoly. This is the real world.
Jackie's taking advice from a guy who almost got into baseball.
Yeah, right. My cousin. Did you hear what he said?
It was his cousin who told me.
Wait, you got to hear this. My
cousin.
He's always getting advice from some.
My cousin almost got into baseball.
He's like,
he said
Yeah, but
Hey, Mike Richards
You can't
dead.
say, hey, you can have mud on shortstop. More than one agent will also pro. It just didn't. My cousin was almost a pro ball player, and
almost.
Never got there.
Look where he gets
But
advice.
he knows.
He gets advice from his cousin, from his uncle, never from a professional.
Yeah, none of these people have been in show business.
And by the way, his cousin's wrong. Maybe that's why he almost got into baseball.
he said that an agent in baseball can't represent more than one agent.
Maybe you should have called the baseball player and found out if that was true.
More than one player on the team. Because you can't say, hey, you can have mud on shortstop, but you're going to take Jackie on first base. It's like...
Okay, give Howard the money we need, but you can take it out of Jackie.
Exactly.
Jackie's got a pocket.
Jackie has no pocket.
What I was gonna say is that part of the conspiracy theory, which I heard several times, when we get drunk and I'd be
Big stars.
Jackie be sitting there, John would be sitting there, and I'd be sitting there. Was that somehow I gotta remember this correctly, I want to get it right. That somehow a big pot of money was given to Don to distribute any way he wanted to everybody,
Oh.
so that if he were part of Team Don, you were gonna get the biggest part of the pot. And then everybody else was going to get a
And
little
he'd be the fourth to dip into
So
the pot.
let's say that's true. Let's say that's true, which it's not, because Don would go in and negotiate. But forget that. I don't care who represents it. What do I give a shit? Just get someone
It
professional.
doesn't mean
So it's not you.
anything to you. You're not getting any money out of it.
No, it just. So I was like, Jackie, just get someone other than yourself. I remember he used to walk in by himself and rub everyone the wrong way.
And he didn't realize that he had done that.
Right. An agent has a certain finesse where he's not going to sit there and, Jackie could have played the good guy while the agent was the bad guy.
Well, the problem was Jackie never got the right representation anyway.
Here's a guy who says enough talking about Jackie. We've heard it. Okay. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. I love
It means a
listening.
lot to us.
We
Yeah,
can
we
delay
love
it.
Too much Jackie talk. Okay, fine. You want to hear how Jackie was invited to my wedding? You haven't heard that before.
Oh, come
All
on.
right, wait.
Let's hear
Whether
this.
Ragame or whatever they do, there is something going on. If it's 10 years, it's not a month ago, it's not 3 years ago, it's 10 years ago. That's a long time. And like I say, from the response, from the feedback I get from people, it's as fresh as it happened yesterday.
He still is like emotional, and it comes up again and again.
But he can't be mad at me because I
I'm not.
do. And Dominic Barber called me up and said, I don't understand Howard. You didn't do anything wrong.
Is it some sort of grudge? Like, what is he just trying to prove that he's right and you're wrong?
I don't know. People say, I don't care, but so many people say, how could you be friends with a guy for 18 years and work side by side with him for 15 years, being half of his brain and not be invited to his wedding?
He was half
You
of
were
my
half of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you never told me he was half of your brain.
Well, that's the other Jackie thing. What really drove him, he didn't feel he got any credit. I don't know. And he was constantly announcing which jokes he wrote. And like, first of all, you watch the Academy Awards when Billy Crystal would come out or something. He doesn't stop after each joke and go, by the way, the writer of that joke was. That's what Jackie wanted. Like if Jackie thought up something, he wanted full credit on the air. That was what the laugh is. It was crazy.
He was half of my brain.
Half my brain. So that means I only own half of my mind when Jackie's in the
How
room.
did you do this all without him for so
I
long?
don't know. Maybe you should realize he's a writer on a show. He's not half my brain.
The other thing about him, and that's why I said made the Rolling Stone analogy, Jackie wasn't here at the beginning. He didn't meet you and create a show.
Well, he took in his mind, he rewrote history. He made me successful.
You were already doing this.
I know.
And I said, listen, I got no problem with that, but I don't know if that was just, like, of course you wouldn't be invited, but at some point, all bets should be off when it comes to a funeral or,
Jackie's nuts.
So he expected to be invited to the wedding.
I hadn't socialized with Jackie in 15 years. He didn't know that at all. I hadn't seen him, I don't know. I'm not friendly with Jackie. I like Jackie a lot. We were good friends when he worked here, and I would hang out with him, but after he left, we didn't
I'm trying to
party.
think of anybody who would be equivalent to Jackie who was there.
No. I mean, I don't hang out with Jackie. I don't socialize with Jackie. quite frankly, I don't socialize with a lot of people, but might see him at work.
No, I'm just someone you just never talk to again for a certain amount of time, and then you say, oh, come to my wedding.
But why would I do that?
That sounds reasonable to me.
Well, I guess if he's half my brain, he's half married to Beth.
What, if you turn the lights out on that half, it doesn't even speak to you anymore?
Unbelievable. Anyway, so he was on the,
Half your brain. I mean, the things that, see, those are the things that upset me.
then he had this other whole rap about,
Whenever he tries to take undue credit
oh, he never got enough.
this,
Never got enough.
it upsets me.
Yeah.
Because to say he's half your brain,
And I guess you, Fred, and Gary are
but
on
you
the other
have a
half.
whole brain.
Right.
You never needed another part.
No, he felt he was half of my brain.
Well, how the hell are we limping along on half a brain?
If we had him back, I'd have my whole brain back. He's half my brain tumor.
That's right, he's cancer.
Yeah. He's a character. Oh, I mean, so then he goes into a rant about Benji being brought in and he wasn't told. And
I've heard him talk about this before, like how, he hated Benji being, like, over his shoulder.
yeah.
During one of the best of things, you were interviewed and you talked about how Benji came in and I don't know if threaten's the right word, but you were hurt or something that they had somebody doing yours
So
same
you know what
job
happened?
right
It had
next
nothing
to
to do
you.
with Benji because the way that I got to do anything was, this is show business or whatever business. You do what you want to do, and the kid wanted to write. They just told me one day, hey, Benji's going to sit in with you, and it's like imagine if Robin's sitting there and there was somebody sitting next to Robin saying, no, do this.
Bad analogy, dude. On shows, there's many writers, but there's not multiple news people coming in and I mean, what did he think he was? He's a writer on the show. Fred's a writer on the show. And now Benji's a writer on the show.
Yeah, Fred had to accept that Jackie was there.
Jackie decided that I had enough writing. I didn't need any
Once
more.
you got him, you didn't need
Right.
him.
No.
Well, he was the traffic cop.
News story instead. Well, do this. And of course, every news story they're going to give us is going to be great. But she already had it covered. Like I already had the writing covered, and between me and Fred,
He had the writing covered.
Oh, my God.
Maybe I didn't think you had the writing covered. My half a brain.
No, see, half your brain knew.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't think it was enough. What do you care?
You know, your two sides of your brain are fighting each other.
It was just weird that I'm sitting there. It's like, it's none of my business, not my show. Of course, if Howard wants another
But you're
writer,
half my brain. It sounds like you are. It is your show.
He had it covered.
Yeah.
of course, it's not my say, but it was a little odd.
But wasn't Fred already doing that as well?
Right? So picture this. I'm sitting there, and Howard's talking, and he says something. I think it's something funny for him to say, and I write. As I'm writing it down, now I got to read. I write it, but I got to read what.
Wow. Wow, sorry, your job's
No,
so
you
hard.
have to work. It's
Yeah.
a job,
It's too
and
much.
you have to work.
It was too much.
I wrote, then I'm reading what Benji wrote and decide which of, so sometimes I just write something and put it up and I wouldn't, it was too much, it was, if somebody hands you 3 cupcakes, you can only eat 1, you know what I mean? It's like, it was too much. Very often what Benji wrote was so funny and it was great, but it was overkill. I thought it was overkill.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It was overkill for him.
It was too fun.
Too fun. Too much fun. Anyway, the Jackie saga on Mutt Superfan Roundtable.
Wow.
And, I don't know, then there was a whole thing about Jackie, Nancy, the apology to Nancy. It was very entertaining, quite frankly, but it got me really worked up because it just
I was
upsetting.
fascinated
Yeah.
by the workings of his mind.
It upsets me that he just is his own worst enemy. He'd still be sitting here if he just kind of mellowed out, figured out what was going on, and kind of saw his position in the right way. I said to him, listen, you're not the show, but you're an important part of the show, and you're being compensated. You got a great life. You can make a ton of dough for the next 5 years. Just sign up.
He never enjoyed this for a
No,
moment.
never.
It was a burden. It wasn't enough. He didn't get the acknowledgement he needed. So it's better that he's away.
Right. Oh, so silly. Mutt got everyone going, though. He's good, Mutt. I like that show. Superfan Roundtable. Still think it's one of the best shows on the channel.
Well, they should have Jackie every week.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, it's great. And then his marriage to Nancy because the bathtub incident with Jessica Hahn.
Oh, that ruined the marriage?
Well, no, they were supposed to go on vacation. Nancy said no because of what happened with Jessica Hahn.
Oh, they didn't make a vacation because of that?
Yeah.
My wife had absolutely nothing to do with what I said that day. We went to I called up our marriage therapist who was trying to save our marriage 10 years after we got married, and she said, if you want to save your marriage, we were supposed to leave the next day to go to Europe. Her sister was getting married in France, and we're going to Venice. We're going to have the greatest vacation in the world. And she said, I ain't going to fucking Europe. I ain't going to. And Emily was our marriage counselor, and she said, Jackie, do whatever you can do to get her on that plane, and 100 miles into the trip, this will all melt away. So I was like, what can I do? And she was so pissed. I said, you know what, I'm just going to. I figured what we did was nothing. But Howard made it sound like there was a full-scale orgy went on in that bed. We're in the bathtub 10 seconds, right? But, you know, his genius is to take something and make a, you know. So she didn't hear it. So she heard the version of 20 of her friends
Relaying the message.
relaying. So not only did Howard pile it on, then they piled it. So, you know, I had both thumbs up, you know, Jessica Hahn's asshole, you know. So she was so mad, so I figured the right thing to do is, if the word got around to her about that, if I go in and apologize, maybe this cocksucking friend.
I like that he had to apologize on the air. Yeah, so, yeah, quite frankly, just to make it clear, Nancy was not the problem negotiating with Mel and Tom.
I don't know.
That was, it was, now that I think about it, it was Jackie going in himself.
I just remember that he was not liked after the very first negotiation.
Yeah, that I remember. It went really, and I just said to him, it might be a good idea if you didn't do this yourself because they're getting the wrong impression of you. They don't like you. You let her fuck everyone, I don't care. And I was like, it's not good to have management feel that way. You might need professional representation. Would you like me to call my agent? That was all. I didn't even know if my agent would represent him, quite frankly. Because one thing I know about Don, if he doesn't like someone, he won't represent him. Because he doesn't want to...
And if he can't talk to a person,
Right.
he's not going to represent.
Yeah, they don't want the aggravation. All right, Bobo, you're up.
Hey, how you doing, Howard?
Yes.
Let me weigh in on this. First of all, what do you want to do with it takes to negotiate within the means of the show to keep everybody working together?
Well, I did say to him, you ought to check around in the industry and see what people are making. And,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, for flying on a private jet, that doesn't happen in the radio world.
no,
Okay?
right.
And let me ask you something else, too. You think because he branded himself, that's the key word, as head writer, you think it went to his head?
Well, that was the other thing, too. He insisted on the title head writer, and like, the only other writer was Fred.
And then when Benji came along, he complained
Yeah.
that there was too much to do being the head writer.
He didn't want to be, so I said, let Fred be the head writer. And even I said to Fred, I go, do you mind if Jackie calls himself head writer? Fred was like, no, if it keeps the show together, why not? But I mean, quite frankly, Fred is, if not as much responsible for the success of the show as any one of us. I mean, Fred was gracious about it. He goes, I don't care about a title. Well, he said, I don't care about a title. I don't know what he's carrying on, but if he wants to be a head writer, fine.
Right.
I think that Fred's a quiet guy,
Right.
and he's not much for rocking the boat. But I think that he was probably a little hurt by it, and he just didn't want to make waves.
Not hurt, annoyed.
Yeah. You were Fred's like, hey, I'm a fucking
It
writer.
was just so silly. I mean, how do you have a head writer?
It's too beautiful.
If anything, I'm the head writer.
That's what I would always
yeah.
say. You were the head writer, and Jackie hands you what everybody else writes.
All right.
That's really a bold move to be working with one other person.
But that's
I think I want to be the head writer.
I think nothing of it.
that's why
And he just arrived.
the title head writer.
And then when Benji
was
wanted to come
irrelevant.
in, which would make it a bigger position, he rejected it.
What was the thing?
But being head writer is irrelevant on a show like this because it's only two guys sitting here basically, and but it was really important to him. He just had a chip on his shoulder that he felt absolutely
Well, it was a
negated as a human being if he didn't have his title. And he wanted everyone to know that he was better than, I guess, Fred. I don't know.
I think that, you know, in his mind, he was Larry David.
Right.
You're Jerry
No,
Seinfeld.
he wanted to be like Dick Van Dyke, and Fred was like Maury Amsterdam.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in terms of what Jackie actually thought he was Larry David.
But here's a weird move about the head writer thing, too, Howard. That was a negotiation with the Channel 9 show for Jackie to get the physical credit when the credits rolled.
Yeah, because...
And then he just moved it over here, but we never said he was the head writer here.
He wanted Hollywood to recognize that he was head writer because he was going to be punching up scripts.
But there was no credit on the radio show.
Right.
That said you were head writer. He just took it from the TV show and moved it over.
It was
Did he
fine.
ever sit down with Fred and ask him about that?
No, listen, we didn't care because it was funny to us. I mean, guy wanted to be head writer on our show, and we were like, well, who else is here writing?
Yeah, I mean, since it really doesn't mean anything, go ahead and call him.
I was like confused too because when we'd be back in my office writing stuff, I'd go, gee, am I supposed to check in with Jackie and make sure that to the head writer? I don't know. What do I do? All right, Bobo, thank you. There it is. Bobo needs to get on the air every day. Now it feels good.
He can have a good day. Sit and watch the water. Be happy.
Yes. Here's Jimmy who says we talk enough about Jackie. I'm sorry, we got sucked in, Jimmy.
Howard,
Jimmy, it's Mutt's fault he had him on Superfan Roundtable. It's not our
We
fault.
had tape.
Howard, you're not going to find a bigger super fan than me. I've been following you 20 plus years. I tape the show every day.
Thank
Blah,
you.
blah, blah. Now, I want to tell you something about Jackie. 2 weeks after that whole debacle when he left, right before he was going to leave the final time, I emailed him. And what wound up happening was, I said to him, Jackie, what the fuck are you thinking? I said something to that effect. And I said, you're on the best radio show, the most greatest marketing tool for your career. What are you thinking, walking away from that show? And I couldn't believe it. He sent, his response simply was, great email. And he never said anything after that, which was, you don't know what the hell's going on in this guy's mind.
I thought you didn't want to talk about Jackie. You're talking about it more than I am.
No. Here's the thing. My wife, we're spending all this money on house.
Thank you.
All right. My wife got it. She said, why is he talking about this again? Frankly, I think it's awesome.
Oh, you see, because of you, I rushed through it.
No. I don't want you to rush it. I think it's awesome. And it's an honor to talk to you. We never call in, and I just been. All right. That's my wife. I'm sorry.
Is she hot?
Yeah, she is. She's very good looking.
Very nice.
We're married 12 years. But we've been listening to you.
Thank you. All right, let's start up the Jackie conversation. I thought I saw Jimmy's call said stop talking about Jackie. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Well, fire under my ass. She said, why is he talking about that again? Frankly, I think it's awesome whenever you talk about it. Can I ask you a question, though?
Yes.
First of all, I'm a big Artie fan as well. Do you guys, since Jackie left, I thought the show really changed, and then when Artie came in, now, do you guys find it that with nobody sitting in that chair, that it's a little harder for you to do your thing?
No. No, I like it. I like just this group that we have now. It's very copacetic, so to speak, and I don't know. I just feel real good about being here, and I don't know. I guess I don't feel like we need anybody. If it could happen again that we get somebody else in
But it's
here.
not hard to do the job.
No, the job's fun. It's a nice group. We get to sit here and talk and do some funny stuff.
The interplay between you and Robin is a lot more into it since Artie left. And we love
Absolutely. I love Artie too.
Well, yeah, we've seen Artie so many times, at his comedy shows up here in Boston, but it's just, it's a totally different vibe. And by the way, Robin, I saw you at Fenway Park when you were in that pedicab.
All right, Jimmy, I gotta go. It's enough.
What?
You were in the pedicab when you. I remember that one. Jimmy, thank you, though, and thank your wife. Very nice words. Anyway, Jackie was on Mutt's show. And in it, I was trying to push Don Buchwald on him. Tom Chisano, he's still waiting for Tom's call.
Nobody called.
Nobody called him. Well, just to get, let's set this straight once and for all. Here is my version. They called him and said it's a final offer. They got on and on and on. And then he thought it was still going on. Like, in other words...
He decided he was going to
Right.
not come in.
Right.
And they said, well, that'll be it.
Yeah. 2 months later, Jackie woke up and realized he had no job and said, okay, I'll take my job back. And we said, there's no job. I think he was waiting for a final offer. He decided not to sign with Don Buckwell because in baseball, his cousin almost got into baseball and heard that agents can't represent more than one player on the team. That was the advice he got from his cousin, who's almost a baseball player. He was almost a baseball player.
And just, I love how with the story he said he took the advice of a cousin who was almost in baseball.
He sounds
But
almost
that's reasonable.
He sounds proud of that. Like, maybe check that out.
Why are you talking to that cousin?
And on top of everything we learned from Mutt's show, he was upset that he wasn't invited to my wedding, which is even more delusional.
That's a surprise, because I don't think that had ever been brought up before.
I make a Christmas party every year. I've invited Jackie because he works on the channel. But
And
Jackie,
he's incredibly uncomfortable
I know
to be around the whole time he's there.
And I see him at the Christmas party. Thank you for inviting me. I thought you didn't even want me. And I can't believe I'm invited. I go, you're working on the channels. Of course you're invited. I didn't think you wanted me. The whole time. I go, well, obviously I want you. You're here. Like it was a mistake that I invited him.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you invited me. I didn't think you were going to invite me.
Robin, I ever tell you about the time I got a stock tip from my cousin who works in an auto body shop? He was almost a stockbroker. I mean, it's crazy. He was almost a stockbroker. I'm not kidding. He almost took me back. There was a lot of people giving Jackie advice who shouldn't have been.
Right.
The only person he should have listened to was me. He would have done very well in life. He would have done exceptionally well if he took my advice. I wasn't looking to screw him, and I think he always had this attitude that I was looking to screw him. Somehow I was behind the machinations of screwing Jackie.
Well, why would you do that?
I was only trying to make his life better. I begged him. I said, Jackie, you've got a great life. Why would you let this explode? Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. You'll pay. I'll leave the show. Your whole career will go away.
But, Howard, the other thing
If he was real honest, he'd
crazy
admit.
about this is that he had left many times before.
Yep.
And nothing happened.
Right.
So why did he think that he was going to go on to some career?
I don't know. He always did. He even once said to me, I believe, and I don't know if I have it exactly right, but it was that, if it wasn't here, my career would have been huge.
Right.
like he sacrificed a lot. Like he could have been his own Jackie the Joke Man Martling without me, and he basically was living under my shadow, and if he had just gone off on his own, who knows what would happen.
Somehow or other, people weren't hiring him because he was on this show.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. They won't let me on the roast. I go, why is that? Well, honestly, I think it's because I work here. Yeah. You mean you're so funny, but they're keeping you up roast because you work? I would think putting you on the roast would be advantageous if you're so funny. And working here, why would comedians be against you if you work here? Well, there's some people at the Friars Club, you make fun of them. And they're going to keep me off the days because of it. And I sit there and I roll my eyes because I go, you know what? He's not that funny on the fucking roast. That's why they're not having him on. We did a roast on Channel 9. He accused me of fixing the audience not to laugh at
for
me.
years. I don't think he ever believed that we didn't.
Yeah. I didn't give one laugh. I know what you did. Why did you admit it?
You all got together and you told
yeah.
everybody not to laugh.
I thought I was losing my mind with this guy. This is what I had to deal with. Came back and he's like all upset. I know what you did. What, Gary got laughs. Everyone there got laughs. Richard Simmons got laughs. I mean, everyone. He got up. It was crickets. And he's a professional comedian.
Oh my goodness! That was one of the greatest episodes of a comedian dying on stage ever.
And he goes, I know what you did. You sabotaged my performance. You made it so the audience wouldn't laugh.
Well, he was devastated that day, but then he came back in on Monday and he said, all right, you can admit it. We're like, admit what?
Yeah, I mean, that's how he got through it. I was Satan. I was always plotting against him. I go, what are you saying, Jackie? I mean, I didn't get one laugh. I know you rigged the audience. I said, I don't know how to do. I didn't do anything. No, I know what you did.
You can go ahead and tell me.
And the funny part would be letting me on the joke.
Wow.
Oh my God, I had it. I had it.
But there were other times that he had decided to leave, and he would send out whatever that packet was.
Yeah.
He would send
to get other jobs.
people he had met on the show.
Right. He would send like to Andrew Dice Clay or Sam Kinison a package saying he's now ready to write for them.
Right.
And then like
He's going to be available.
I don't know, one of them called me Sam or Dice and go, hey, well, what is this? We got this package from Jackie. I go, what package? They go, well, he says he's ready to write for us. I go, it's fine with me. I don't care who he writes for. Go write. I just wanted you to know.
And then he had the great line that, like, well, Jackie, what are you going to do? When we would talk to him about this one, I had to go punch up a script.
Where? Who's looking for him to punch up a script?
Oh, be like Babalu Mandel.
He locked into that.
Yeah.
I go, Babalu Mandel writes his own movie scripts, and sometimes they call him in to write. You don't write movie scripts. No, I can do it. But you've never written one. I know I can do it. Hey, Andrew.
Hello, Howard.
Hey, now.
Hey, now. I was just wondering, why did you keep giving Jackie so many chances? I mean, it looks like he drove you nuts.
You know what? I gave him a lot of chances. I'll tell you this. I genuinely thought he was super talented, and also, I really liked the guy. I mean, there was something very simpatico between us, and I liked him. And I really, listen, I've improved a lot in my mental health. Back then, I kind of thought, oh my God, he's his own self. He's his own worst enemy. I'm going to save him. I'm going to get through to him because I know what he's walking away from. It was almost like watching a guy commit suicide. And I'd say to myself, if you saw a guy committing suicide, would you jump in and try and help? Or would you let him kill himself? And ultimately, I'd always jump in and try and say, life's worth living.
Yeah, but Jackie was the kind of guy who would take you down with him.
Yeah, that's true. If he was drowning, he'd pull you down. And you go, you're going to. But I didn't see it at the time. I just saw it as like, you know what, he's a talented guy, he's a nice guy, I enjoy his vibe. You know, so we had many good times together. And I said, this guy, I really thought of him as a friend. And I said, you know, I have a friend who's a little bit out of it. He doesn't understand that he's got something good going. And you know, my life, I've always learned if you have something good, really, before you let it go, make sure you understand what you're giving up. So I used to look at Jackie and I'd say, I'm going to get through to this guy. I'm going to put my brain in his head. You know, you said he owned half my brain. I'm going to give him half of my brain and go, Jackie, I'm a guy who's been in radio a long time. I've struggled with it. I know what it is to make a living in it. We've got a great situation. You've got Mel Karmazin who's willing to pay you. I mean, he had no idea what he had. I said, you don't know, an opportunity like this doesn't come along all the time. You've got something good. Go with it. Yeah, and it was like watching a guy. You know, if I had been in the room with Artie when he tried to commit suicide, I would have tried to stop him.
Right.
And the same with Jackie. He was committing suicide. I said, I looked at him. I took him on that plane. I said, Jackie, you're eating steak. You know, Jackie loved to eat.
Oh, my God. Did he love room service?
I said, you're on a plane. You got room service. You're in the best hotel.
Remember the time we walked in and he had ordered 2 of everything?
You're making a bunch of dough. I see over there you got a newspaper. You're checking your stocks. You're a gentleman. I said, you're hanging around with a bunch of friends who want to suck you down with them. You're listening to too many people. Listen to me. I'm your friend. You got to go to... You're just trying to get more for yourself. You're trying to trick me. I was the enemy. And I wanted to say to him, you're wrong. You don't understand what I'm saying. I care about you. No. You're just having my cousin who almost got into baseball. No, he doesn't. Yeah.
You know, Jason came to me while you were talking, and you were talking about the roast before. And Jason said, I've always heard Howard talk about the roast, but I've never heard it was that bad. So Jamie pulled it, and I listened to the first 4 jokes, and it's funny because I remember the day, and again, I don't think we'll get too far into it, but I remember the day, it was Jackie's big moment.
Right.
And
because he was a roast expert.
And I said to Jason, I remember that I went out, I got a book of bad, sticky jokes, and that was like going to be my rap. I'm going to do bad, sticky jokes. And
you got laughs.
You got great.
I got laughs because there was no expectation. Jackie did almost my exact jokes.
Right.
But Jackie was supposed to be very comedic. I don't even want to hear it, but I listened to it, and it is fucking funny. It's like Gary Bates too.
Is this where I supposedly rigged the audience?
Yes. But I'm telling you that, like, there were too many people there for us to tell for it to be that funny.
It was a room full of people.
Howard, here's a man who takes credit for everything you say, yet the only thing funny about him is his belly button.
So true.
Please welcome
That was a good line. So far, so good.
Everything's
the
going
very
good.
best Jackie the Joke Man
I remember sitting there on a day thinking, if he bombs, my life's going to be hell.
But who would have expected him to bomb?
And I was sitting there going, I better try and interject a few things to make it funny.
Let me see what happens now. Shut up. This is his big moment. Now it's your show.
This is Jackie Uncensored.
Yeah, we'll see how funny this is, Robin.
Jackie Uncensored and Unedited.
All right, leave him give it a chance.
There are no morons right here.
All right.
8 years I've waited to call you Big Bird to your face, you gawky bastard.
All right, go ahead.
You're not gonna laugh at one thing I say.
That's right.
Hey, Les.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's the deal. Okay, Howard.
Go, get out of your anger.
Howard Stern.
That's good.
You take away his looks, his body, his charm, and his personality, and what have you got? Howard Stern. Gary laughs at that. People say to me, Jackie, how can Howard act like such a jerk? And simply, he's not acting. Oh, this
Good. Now you realize.
He was so much better than Henny, but at least he was old.
Yeah, at least,
Shut up,
at least
Howard.
now you realize that you need me.
Right in a joke.
That's what you realize, you need me.
I absolutely gotta have.
Go ahead, continue with your act.
I admit that Howard does work hard. He had to search far and wide to find a producer whose face he could make fun of.
All right, it was painful, but I listen.
But you remember he walked off the show on Monday.
Yes.
That was another.
Right, because we would never admit.
We wouldn't admit that we rigged the audience.
And he walked
He
off.
said, "I need a mental health day." Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah.
He goes, "Howard, admit it." You go, "I'm not going to admit it because it didn't happen." He was very upset, so he left.
He left the show.
He left the show.
Took a day.
Mental health day.
Good Lord.
You put up with a lot of shit.
I did.
And you're sitting there, you go, "God, I put up with a lot of shit."
What about my mental health? It was such an elaborate thing that we rigged him first with bad jokes, then we rigged the
Well, how
audience.
could we do that? Because he did his own material.
We
We
hypnotized
couldn't
him.
get in there.
I hypnotized him. He was the Manchurian comedian. Come on. Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, Mutt did a good job. Yes, Andrew. Oh, you asked your question. Thank you.
Jackie's very ungrateful. He should have been on his hands and knees, thanking God that he was working for
Well, I didn't ask him for that.
There was no reason for that. Just
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I said, I begged him. I said, you got no pressure on you.
It's just terribly ungrateful. Like, it's just abusing what you're given.
Yep. All right, Andrew, thank you. Well, it's a good lesson for all of us. You got something good, go with it.
Sandy, do you realize that you're the thing that drove him over the edge?
What do you mean?
Jackie. You know, every time Jackie starts talking, it's like, and then they put Benji in it. Did you know you were such a close sport?
No.
You were gonna get him out of his seat?
I didn't. I'm going to start doing interviews about that.
That's right. You're the Jackie killer.
Robin, this whole thing seems very cyclical. It's like every now and again he brings it up on his show, then Howard gets pissed off, then you get pissed off, and Fred and Gary, or just get annoyed by the way he remembers.
Well, it's just when you're listening to somebody, he always tells the story in a way that doesn't match the facts, and that's what's bothersome. You know, when he won't look at the facts the way they are, he can never learn from his mistakes. It was his job to keep his job, and he frittered it away. When he was leaving, he said, "I'm ready to go." And then 2 months later, he couldn't believe his job wasn't still there.
Gary brought up a good point that he believes it's more about ego than money. I mean, the amount of money he was holding out for wasn't like a...
Again, yeah, they weren't very far apart. You know, that's how negotiations go. You don't necessarily get everything you want, but you get close. And then you say, okay, and he he had this crazy notion in his head that if he, you know, like a baby, I want it all, and if I can't have it all, I'm taking my ball and go home, and I'm going home. He didn't realize he didn't have the ball.
And at the end of it, you continue to work through your negotiations, as did Fred and Howard, but he thought he was above that.
Well, we would actually wrap up our negotiations before the end of a contract. Jackie liked playing out the string and then coming to some kind of agreement afterwards, and he'd always go on strike. And I would always say, well, where's his line? I don't see him out there picketing. He's just sleeping in. He's taking an extra vacation, and we keep his job waiting for him. And then after a week or two, he comes back refreshed and ready to go.
You never put Jackie out there as one of those giant inflatable rats?
No, I didn't cross the picket line. Where was it?
Given all of this nonsense, there's a very small part of you still wish he was in that chair, cracking jokes and ripping on Gary and writing things.
Me?
Yeah.
No. In a word? No, I was ready for Jackie to go 5 years before he went. So, and,
you know, I want to know dude, Robin was Jackie's lawyer. She's so, I'm going to teach Jamel how to negotiate.
No, I was tired of Jackie's antics. In fact, there was one negotiation, I think it was one of those last ones, where I didn't talk to him 2 or 3 months after he returned, because I was just sick of what he was doing. So I looked at the last go around and I said, oh, they're actually going to let him leave this time, and he did.
I'm very reluctant to ever talk about Jackie, and I probably already said too much about Jackie, because Jackie will watch this, and he'll listen to it. He'll find something in there to be, I don't know, disagreeable about, and then if he ever does come in again, he'll start something with me. What can I say? Good luck, my friend.
The whole thing seems cyclical. Like it's like every now and again, Jack.
I'm trying to break the cycle.
Right.
That's why I love talking to you. I love talking to you. I love talking to Howard TV. But when it comes to Jackie Martling, I think I'm drawing a line in the sand when it comes to him these days. It's like, you know, Jackie, good luck with whatever it is that you do. I hope you get all the worms that you can eat. Talk about worms, don't sharing worms.
The picture that's up on the website of Ronnie's mustache. Ronnie, the limo driver, has a mustache that looks like, to me, like, you know, General Lee, like a guy in the Civil War, or he's grown one of those big, giant gray mustaches that sits on his face.
Right.
It's weird.
Looks like one of those old presidents.
And no matter how many people tell him it's weird, now it's getting to the point where he can't shave it off, because then everyone will say, you know, then it'll be like, well, I did what everyone said I should have done. So I think he's just keeping it for the hell of it. So Sal and Richard went on the street and they showed pictures of Ronnie's mustache to women mostly, and maybe this will get through to him that it's not a good look, because look what these women were just all over it.
What do you think of this man's mustache?
It looks very southern to me. It's like in between a goatee and I don't know. It's not a party.
What is now? Why'd you say that?
It's like, it reminds me of like a mullet, like in mustache form. It's just, but it's not a party.
What would you say to him if a guy tried to make out?
I would say, no thanks, old man.
Who do you think he looks like with that mustache?
He looks like he is a general from the Civil War. He looks like he could be a pedophile or a country music singer.
Well, what do you think he does for a living?
Rape children, I don't know, child porn.
When you get that kind of
He's
feedback.
in child porn.
I make my living in children pornography.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I was a child porn star, and now as an adult I produce.
I'm a child molester.
I tried to tell him the mustache doesn't look good, but he doesn't care. Now it's getting to the point where it's like, fuck you.
Well, he's Ronnie.
Right.
You know, so he has to have his own look and his own thing.
Ronnie has like 89,000 Twitter followers, and JD has like 90, and Ronnie's keen on passing JD, and JD doesn't like it.
I know, because JD loved
Yeah.
the fact that he always had more, but then Ronnie got verified, and it just blew
Yeah.
him out of the water.
Yeah, Ronnie's been on the show a lot lately, and it's causing a lot of tweet action. Although Ronnie fucked up his Twitter account this morning, JD let me know.
Why? How?
Ronnie has a feature on his Twitter account, Hot Chick of the Week. He picks different girls, sends him pictures, and then he chooses the Hot Chick of the Week. So somehow, I don't know how he did it, but he ended up tweeting out a request for pictures of hot guys. Which is Ronnie being funny, except he wasn't being funny. And I don't know how you make that mistake. How do you make the mistake to send me pictures of hot guys?
Maybe he secretly wants that.
How do you do that, JD? Like, how do you fuck that up?
Well, first, he fucked up the name. He tweeted out the wrong name. He tweeted out the name of some guy. And then after the name, it says, we need more hot pics.
Hot pics like that?
Are you upset about him getting more? Because I know you work hard on Twitter, and you can be honest about it.
Yeah, it sucks, but you know, what are you gonna do? Listen, yeah, and he has been on a lot more, and he's more interesting, I guess.
Why is it important to have the most followers? I don't even understand.
No, it's just, you know, more people interested in you, I guess. I don't know.
Is it sort of like Ronnie's like finally getting popularity? I don't think he ever had any. And
I don't know. I think the verification thing really helped.
Did it? Yeah. You fucked that up. You should have worked harder toward getting that.
I was right here.
Boz, the creator of Twitter. You know,
Boz.
Hey, I love more hot pictures of Boz. When Biz was here, JD got a shot at getting verified, and he blew it.
To Ronnie, he lost.
He lost to Ronnie. It's unbelievable. You know.
Son of a bitch.
Next time, maybe you should grow a big mustache like this.
I need to grow something. I don't know.
Hell. More women commenting on Ronnie's mustache if you want to hear. By the way, we tweeted a picture of Ronnie's mustache, the one that we showed the women. It's at Stern Show.
Okay.
What do you think of this mustache?
Creepy.
Why?
Well, that together with the scowl on his face just makes him look angry and mad. I don't know.
I tried to tell Ronnie he's always looking angry.
Yeah, he's always got it. That's a permanent scowl.
Yeah. Everyone's morphing around here. Ronnie grew a huge mustache and JD grew a huge belly. JD getting fat. A lot of people noticing in the pictures.
Is he still on medication? Because sometimes that happens with medication.
He should be on medication. Let's get back to Ronnie's mustache, see what the ladies had to say.
I don't really like the mustache.
Why?
It's just kind of like old-fashioned looking, like old Western, like an old president.
Is there a certain old president you think he looks like? Or?
Teddy Roosevelt.
If your man came home with this type of mustache, would you kiss him?
No. I would tell him to shave it if he
Teddy Roosevelt's a good one.
That's what I was thinking, that's the, I was thinking about the Teddy Roosevelt mustache, and I was like, yeah, that's sort of like that.
What do you think of this mustache?
Not attractive. No, I don't like it. It's gross. Just, he looks angry and not friendly.
No kidding.
Fuck you, bitch.
I used to tell Ronnie that. I said, Ronnie, even when you drive me, you come off angry. He goes, I do not.
No, you can't tell Ronnie anything. Your observation means nothing.
Right.
Like, he can't imagine that this is somebody telling me what the perception is of me. He just has to argue with you.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing, I don't care.
You're going to keep the mustache even after all these girls are saying it's gross?
I don't care what they say.
Here, listen. I'll give you more.
All right, when you see this mustache, what do you think of it?
Creepy. Disgusting. It looks like he didn't shave. No, he doesn't look like he showered in days. He looks like a serial killer to me. He looks like a hobo. He looks like a hobo. Yeah, he looks like a hobo. Serial killer.
Would you ever make out with somebody with a mustache like that?
No. He looks like your face.
It's just hoboing.
What are they, 10 years old, these girls? Did you hear the voices?
No, man, just showing.
Whatever, you know what?
Then they showed a picture of you and
like
Stephanie, and they said that the ladies were, like, so pissed off.
What a shame.
What do you think the age difference is between the two?
He's like 70, she's like mid-20s.
How old do you think he is?
80. I think 75.
Yep.
Like mid-70s, yeah. 65?
Why do you think a man this old is dating a girl this young?
Sex.
With a man?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Why does it bother Sal so much? You can hear it in his voice, it bothers him when he's asking the question.
Yeah, he's obsessed with you. You went out into tons of Ronnie stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can ask the gay guy about Ronnie's mustache.
What are
This
the
man's
gays
mustache.
think?
What?
What are the
I'll
gays
show you.
Describe this man's mustache. What do you think of him and his mustache?
What do I think of him and his mustache? A little overgrown, kind of, hanging down on his face too far, I think. It kind of looks like he applied a layer of glue around his mouth and then ate a very hairy man's asshole.
That's it. That's all. That's a great definition. I love
Hey, you know what gay dudes know? If a gay dude tells you the mustache doesn't look right,
You know,
it makes you look like a permanent frown.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't care.
When you see the picture, guess the relationship.
Creepy boss and employee.
Now, what makes it say that?
Yeah. He thought you were her boss.
Oh.
In the picture.
Okay.
Guess the relationship. What would you say?
Father-daughter.
Okay. Would you be shocked to find out it's actually boyfriend and girlfriend?
I think it's ridiculous. How much could they have in common?
Can you sum up this this type of relationship in one word?
Odd.
Odd.
Yeah.
You didn't
She
do
sounds
well.
like she's about 80.
You didn't do well
Yeah.
in the.
Listen, I'm doing very well. I'm fine.
You don't care? I heard you tweeted for hot guys.
What does that mean?
JD said you did it wrong, and some guy sent you a
Tweeted
pic.
for hot guy.
Yeah, you don't know this? JD, explain to Ronnie what he did.
What did I do, JD?
Says you tweeted for hot guys this morning.
No, I didn't. I put up the hot chick of the week.
Yeah, but you screwed it up.
No, I didn't.
It
It's not a guy. Go on her website and see her portfolio. Tell me it's a guy.
You tweeted out you messed up the name, so whenever
No, I didn't mess up the name.
Yes, you did.
How did I mess up the name?
You click on the name and it's some guy with a goatee.
What do you mean I messed up the name?
Let's go look. I don't know if they can put it up, but
For hot girl of the week, you put a hot guy.
No, I put up her thing, whatever.
click on the name.
What, hot chicken? Well, check out the hot chicken of the week. You click on it, it's a guy. It's Seymour.
No. Well, they didn't use the big O. They didn't use the big O. It's a big O. What are they, stupid?
That's
No,
not easy, but
no, I didn't.
no, I think we just clicked on it. It's a guy.
Another guy with a beard. No, hello. Put up at small C, big O, R-E.
It's the link you have.
That's the link you put
No,
up,
it's
dude.
not. Look at my
Click on it.
Look at my tweet. Look at it.
By the way, we just.
Yes, all they did was hit it.
At Stern Show, we just.
No. Look at the way it, see the middle?
See?
See the big O?
Yeah.
See more homos. Go on that one. Go on that one.
Maybe you have to put in 0.
Go on.
Look.
Maybe.
There it is, it's a guy.
Put up his. Nobody. It
You did
doesn't.
it wrong.
No, I didn't.
How could you not? You just saw it.
Fine.
All right, put it up with a 0. Put it up with a 0. See what happens.
You tweeted that, though.
I put it up with a big O, not a little O.
You did it wrong. It's what we're saying.
This guy's verified.
You tweeted a
I
guy.
got a queer tweet. So tell him to put up with a.
Seymour Peanut.
Tell him to put
They're
up.
not putting up anything. That's what happens when you click on you.
Johnny, that's your tweet.
No, I put up small C.
We see what you put
All
up.
right, then put it up with a. I guess it's a 0, but nobody. You can't tell the difference between a 0 and a
Consciously,
capital O.
unconsciously, you or subconsciously,
hunting for men,
tweeted a gay.
Tell him to pull up with a 0.
Look, Ronnie, that's your tweet. Ronnie, the limo driver, back in the limo Monday, suck. Busy weekend, back to the Lions Den. Check out the hot chick of the week.
Right.
Now look, you click on it again.
That's how they do it. They're not writing
They're not doing anything. You're just following your tweet.
Yeah, but that's how it. That's how it is.
So you made a mistake.
No wait.
Why?
I'll show you my phone. No,
Why are you screaming?
I want to.
That's what you just said. You can sit there as a
I'm
gay tweet.
upset.
Hold on. Hot guy picture up.
Get out of here. Yeah, I'm correct. I'll be passing you any day now.
How many followers do you have, JD?
I don't like 93,000 something.
93,000. How many does Ronnie have?
Almost 87.
Wow. He's close to
He'll beat
Close
you
to none.
by the end of the week.
Why are you giving up? What do you mean he'll beat you?
No, I can't give up. There's no giving up. There's just more people will follow him.
Ask them to put up the right thing. I just want you to see this girl.
Ronnie, all they did was put up your tweet.
Put up at small c m 0. I'm sorry. It looked like a capital O to me, not a 0.
It doesn't matter what you wanted people to see. What they're seeing
She's a homo. You freaked me out.
Understood. I understand what you're saying.
I wanted to see the hot girl of the week, and then it was a dude.
Well, go on Twitter and put it up with a 0 instead of capital O.
I admit he's a handsome guy.
No, he's not a handsome guy.
He'd already gotten out his tissue, and then he sees this guy.
I was just about to jerk off, and then all of a sudden I see a very stupid thing.
You knew what I think. You knew what I meant.
I don't even think you're going to
tweet it.
Nobody.
I'll retweet it. I'll retweet it, okay?
You gotta retweet it.
I will definitely retweet it.
You're gay now.
I will retweet it.
I wish you hadn't told him.
Can you wait for guys, girls? Look at this hot chick. Whoops.
What's up with Ronnie sending us to guys' websites?
Yeah, but what's
That was a big beard.
Yeah, the difference between the 0 and a capital O. I can't.
How great is Ronnie's only allowed to tweet out hot guys?
I love it.
No, this girl's hot. I mean, if you get it right, you'll say.
No, you get it right.
This dude is hot too. I didn't get it right.
I know he didn't. You're
but
blaming us, but
no,
you
I'm
guys
not blaming you. I'm just saying I didn't realize that the capital O and the 0 was different, obviously.
You're the one who said, I'm into meeting girls, I'm into meeting guys.
Yeah, I did say that.
So now you're meeting both.
Yeah, no, I didn't put up.
King of all blacks, you're on the air.
Oh, God, you gotta listen to this idiot now.
I was reading your tweet this morning.
Your twit? My twit? Yeah.
It says back in the limo. Like he's on a construction site.
And where are you? Where are you?
He's driving a fucking car.
And what are you doing? I didn't say that.
Hey, listen, it ain't easy getting on
Learn how to read. Learn how to read. I didn't say anything like getting back to the grind.
You said Mondays suck.
I said Mondays suck. They do.
Why?
Of course they suck.
Now I want to do this suck.
Yeah.
You're gonna take him to task for saying Mondays suck. Everyone knows Mondays suck because it's not the fucking weekend. That's why it sucks.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
King wants to goof on you, but
Yeah, I know.
he's not.
Yeah, it's not working.
He's just goofing on you to goof on you.
It's not working.
King, you enjoy Monday?
Monday sucks.
Okay.
And I didn't say getting back to the grind. I said back to the lion's den. That's what I said.
But did you say back in the limo?
Yeah, I sit back in the limo. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Because that's where I work.
You ever sit in a limo all day? It's hard. It ain't easy.
He doesn't sit in the limo all day. He's here.
Oh, right. No, he does. He spends the rest of the day with me. It's been a long day. He works hard.
All right. I just want
Yeah. Come on now. Well, come on. What else you got for me?
I wish I could visually see you. I just wish I could visually.
Why? Oh, you want to see my suits and my shirt? And yeah, so you're so good. Yeah, you buy.
That's where King comes in strong.
At
When
least-
he looks at you.
Yeah, well, at least I buy my clothes with my own money, not my daddy's money. Okay. Because you're always bragging how your daddy's giving you money, man. You know?
About my father giving money. I said he gives me money.
Yeah, well, that's what you buy your fancy clothes and cars with. With your daddy's money.
We might have to get Ronnie his own show.
Might would have to give it to him with King. King will partner with all these.
I don't want to be on with it.
What would your father be good for if he doesn't do anything for you?
Well, if that's all your father's good for is giving you money, well, I feel sorry for you.
Hey, by the way, speaking of dads, how's your dad doing now that your mom died?
Well, my father's in the hospital as well, so, but he's doing better.
Good.
And,
You had the funeral for your mom?
Yeah, just keep it upstairs. So, I just try to keep laughing, keep my mind off it,
Is your dad dating yet?
No.
He's gonna have a period of time of grief?
No.
Maybe he wants to come hang out with me. I'll hook him up.
He's gotta go get back in the saddle.
Yeah, I'll hook him up. Tell him to come hang out with me.
My father could probably give any girl, it's like, it's crazy. Because, he's a nice, you saw him before.
Yeah, classy guy. I met him somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't it just a couple of years ago that you saw him on vacation?
Did you tell your dad he should date a Spanish chick?
Oh,
For their hair?
He could have a little Spanish chick, man.
What if your dad does start popping out kids?
He can't pop out those kids.
So when was the funeral, King?
It was about a week and a half ago. Why do you keep bringing that up? It makes me crazy.
Because they're being sensitive.
Yeah, well, obviously yesterday was a bad day for you, man. I know you went.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sat at the cemetery yesterday. Was fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why were you at the cemetery?
Somebody thought he was dead.
They tried to bury
Yeah, I
him.
went to look for guys.
That mustache, it's what happens after you dye your hair.
What do you mean, why did I sit at the cemetery?
Great.
It was Mother's Day. I went to see my mother.
Oh, you did? You went to the cemetery?
Yeah, I went and sat at the cemetery.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I went to the cemetery, cleaned up a little bit, and then I sat on a bench and looked at the sky for a while. I did. It was nice and peaceful. Nobody bothered me. It was nice and quiet.
King, did you have an open casket?
Yeah, it was open for
I don't get that.
For a little bit, and then they closed it down. And we got
Yeah, it's sad, man. I went to a wake on Saturday. My neighbor's aunt died, and then we went to pay our respects, and like she was in an open casket.
Jews keep the casket closed, and that's
It's
why
scary, man.
That's why I was shocked when I guess Phoebe became a Buddhist, and they had an open casket. I wouldn't look in there.
And then when people were saying like,
Although I have to admit, I do like to look to see what they're wearing.
But isn't it kind of weird? It's like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, but I like to look to see how they dressed it. What was your mom wearing, King?
my mother had on a $2,000 dress. It was beautiful. I mean,
Why a $2,000 dress? It seems crazy.
Because it's King. King's mom.
Why don't you just pay $2,000 to her?
Who's the designer?
Oh, wait a
That's what I
second,
wanna
wait a
know.
second. King. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Vera Wang, she was buried in?
Yeah.
No.
And Calvin Butch did the sermon. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Reverend Calvin Butts?
Yeah.
He's a big name.
Yeah, he's a big name. He had it with 10 guys. He had 10 limousines.
Is that like Seymour Butts' cousin or something?
What do you have to pay? What do you have to pay? What do you have to?
It's not.
That's Ronnie. What do you have to? Why? Listen to me. He's trying to be fun. He's a Twitter guy.
Yeah, well, he was busts on me. Why can't I
Wait a
bust on
second.
him?
Wait a second.
Not at this time.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't know there was the perimeters here.
I'm exhausted already.
Parameters are parameters.
Parameters, whatever. All right.
It's time for Ronnie to get it
Yeah,
on the show.
I'm leaving. I don't know.
Jimmy Kimmel had a good name for your show. More Ronnie.
Okay.
What do you think? You like it?
That's good to me.
You like it?
That's Steve Langford likes. That's what Steve Langford calls. We
All
call
right,
it
good.
too.
All right, well then maybe we'll get you your own show.
All right.
I got a better show for him. That's Ronnie.
Yeah. Ha ha ha. All right.
Thanks.
Fine.
Now we have to see how long it takes Ronnie to understand that name.
I gotta go fix my Twitter now.
All right, go ahead.
What's the inside of his jacket says? Please, all right.
What's the inside of your suit jacket say, Ron?
I bet it doesn't say Brooks Brothers.
Ralph Lauren.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ralph Lauren.
Okay.
Okay.
Open up your game. That little girl got you.
See what I mean? I tried to be nice to the guy before and said it was a sad day from yesterday, and now he's gonna fucking jump all over me.
He said you upped your game.
Oh, I upped my game. Oh, okay.
No,
I didn't
game.
hear that part of it. Okay.
And I'm gonna give you a compliment. In all fairness,
Oh.
you are the man. When you said, I don't have to say I love you to my girl, I thought that was hot when you said that.
That's hot?
That. I mean, it was cool when you said that.
All right. Thank you.
All right, you liked it. It's a
No, I feel bad for the guy yesterday. I know what he went
So
through.
you like the idea of a show called More Ronnie?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Just want to tell you something about that casket thing, the open casket.
Yeah.
So we went to this, like I said, to the wake, and they had a lot of the kids were there at the wake.
Yeah.
Right. And the little kids were walking up. I mean, this is what I don't get. You know, you bring little kids, they're walking up and they're touching her.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
people
my
do
God.
that.
And they're
Yeah.
laughing. The kids, no, it's the little kids. They
I
don't know what's
know.
going on. They're laughing, they're pulling on their hand and stuff. I was like, whoa. I'm getting that.
When you were a little kid, there was a body
Well,
there?
when I was 12, I undressed the body. I wanted to see what it was doing.
You really got into it.
Yeah, I got into
It was really
I pulled the
weird.
clothes off.
It was
Are her
weird.
private part's still there?
It was
Is it
hot
a doll?
Yeah. It was at Seymour.
Thank you.
Is this the greatest thing that could happen to you on a Monday morning to start your Twitter war with Ronnie?
I don't know about the greatest thing, but it's definitely, it's a good way to start the week. little fucking Ronnie.
How is he not understanding what it seems like he's trying to skirt the issue and skirt the blame.
He's just, you know, he was caught off guard, and, you know, he'll fix it. He'll fix it.
Doesn't he get that we can't change his tweets? I mean,
he does now. I don't know what his problem was before, but he'll get it.
a lot of your job is looking for details and little mentions and finding little quirks that relate to the show. When you found that this morning, did you think it was gold instantly, or
Yes.
You can recognize that?
Of course. Yes.
Is this a sign that it's going to be a good week for JD?
All you hot guys, go look for Ronnie. He's looking for you.
Now, do you think JD was looking to sabotage you once again? He seems to be your nemesis.
Yeah, because
you're spoiled.
Because he wants me to fail. He wants to be the king of Twitter around here, other than Howard, of course. Howard's got like over 500,000 followers.
Well, you're not going to top the king of all media.
I'm not trying to. Never said I was. But JD is trying to keep me down. It's not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen.
How does one recover from starting a week so poorly?
I'm going to go fix it. Don't worry. We don't have any guests today, so I can go out and sit down now and fix this deal. You know.
Can you watch?
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Can you watch what?
Why don't you make this fix?
No. Okay?
Lund Enterprises correct all of its mistakes and projects.
And you can go check out her website. Go check out her portfolio on her website. Just check. And tell me it's a guy.
What's the tag again?
I'll tell you her website. Hold on.
Well, what's her Twitter handle?
At Seymour. But I guess it's not Seymour. It's CM0RE.
Got it.
Which makes no sense to me.
CMORE. Got it. Okay.
No, not ORE. Right. Zero, obviously, because O came up as a guy.
Oh, right.
Got it? A capital O?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay?
Yes.
What a jerk. Goodbye, you know.
Thanks for the dude pick.
Yeah, not a dude.
You know, in the morning, Gary plays me a lot of tape of different things that I'm going to use on the show. And then if I take a second to, like, if I pause, he starts singing to himself. And it annoys me more than clearing his throat. But I've been ignoring it. It's been going on for a few weeks.
Wait a minute, you got to explain this to me. You're talking to him.
I'm talking to him, right?
He's presenting things to you.
And then all of a sudden I go, hey, wait a minute, because I need to organize it or think how I'm going to present it to the audience. And all of a sudden you hear, and he starts to sing a song like it's one of his
But
songs.
he can't even let you think.
No, and he can't stand waiting. It reminds me, sometimes the little kids do that.
Well, they sort of get distracted. Is he like a little kid and
I
he's
don't
now
know.
distracted?
And it's almost like he's just calming himself with his
Does
song.
he know he's doing this?
I don't think so. I don't even think he's consciously aware of it. But the thing is that I become so distracted, I can't even think about the thing I need to think about.
Right.
Yeah. It's so quiet, I don't even know that other guys hear it.
Really? So he's singing real low.
It's like he can't be quiet for a second. He wants to keep verbalizing. He talks.
Where is he? Does he know what he's singing? I want to know what he's singing.
I don't know if he knows he does it, but he has a song. It's several. I'm not good
Is it
enough.
one song, several songs?
I think it's different songs.
Oh, here she comes.
Yeah, but it's like now, do you know you do that?
No.
Wow. It's wild.
No, I really don't.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. I wonder if Hine realizes it. Where's John Hine?
Wow, I'm like, that's fascinating.
But you know everything I notice, because that's just me. I
But
notice
how could you
everything.
not? You're sitting there trying to think and he starts singing.
Yeah, but it's very
You're not even there. What the fuck do you know? Go with the song.
Really crazy.
John, are you aware of it? Do you ever hear it?
I hear Gary talk to himself sometimes.
Yeah,
like
really?
mumble,
Do that?
Yeah, like mumble to himself.
Because he can't stand to be quiet.
But I haven't heard him sing.
The singing part, listen real carefully when he's doing his briefing, and then if I just kind of go, well, give me 1 second, and I start staring at something, we just go,
What am I saying, by the way?
I don't know. I'm not good enough to know songs.
Yeah, what is the playlist? Now that should have been in his book.
Yeah.
The list of songs I sing.
List of songs I sing when Howard is going for 2 seconds.
Well, I didn't know.
And as soon as you're ready to go, he stops the singing and starts his next thing.
Yeah. It's just, it lasts for 5 seconds, but it so blows my mind, because it reminds me of a little kid.
Well, it's another thing I'm unaware of that I will apologize for.
Yeah. I can't believe John doesn't hear it.
Do you think he'll keep going now that you pointed it out?
Yeah, he doesn't even know he's doing
Well, when I'm trying not to clear my throat, I'll try not to sing. I have so many lists of things not to do. I don't know what to do.
I think it's tied in with you clearing your
I think maybe it is.
Keep your voice clear.
That could be.
Yeah, so he starts like a little. I'll tell you, and it makes me nuts because I just want to think. And everything drives me crazy. You know, when I was like Howard TV doing behind the scenes, we have cameras everywhere, and like,
Did they get that?
like, no, they probably have it, but it's so low and subtle. It's crazy. But like everything about it drives me nuts. Because like Brian Phelan now is in here before I am, and he's standing there with a camera, and then he starts to have a conversation with me. And you know me, I love Brian.
Yeah.
So I start to feel bad if I don't have a conversation with Brian. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'll go, "Hey, got the dog," and I'll go,
Right, he wants to tell you about that.
I just want to work now, but I don't want to be rude, and I'm excited he got the dog. I go, "Oh yeah, how'd that work out?" And I'll go, "Well, you know, the kids wanted to call the dog Brownie, but I like the name Duncan." And I go, "Hey, Brian, I'm really curious about the dog, and I do want to hear about it, but I got 3 minutes to pull all my shit together."
I can feel it
And then Gary strolls in.
I gotta tell you, Howard hasn't been working with Brian long enough, or if Brian hasn't been in here long enough, because I promise you, when Howard's annoyed with me, he has no problem. Like, sometimes I'll come in, and I'll just get the hand. I'll go, Howard,
Well, no, because I got a thought, and it's like, but you don't like when I go, "Gary, okay, hold on, let me organize this." And I start writing, and as soon as I start writing, you go,
I don't dislike that.
and you start going,
Yeah, but why would you think that means I don't like you
no,
doing it?
you have to calm yourself. And it's like you're drawing attention to yourself. If you were just quiet for 2 seconds, I can get done. It's like having a mosquito on you.
There's no pleasing you.
No, I mean, it's a subtle thing. You don't even know. I really don't know
I'm doing it.
Wow.
I wish you knew what he was
I
singing.
wish I had a tape of these.
Because it would be interesting to know if he goes back to the same song. If
It's not the
same spot.
I don't think it is the same song,
Right.
but I'm not sure.
So there's a whole playlist in his head that he can just go back to and there's a new song running.
And that's a really weird thing, because I've never heard anybody tell me I've done that anywhere ever else but here.
Well, he says it's only been happening for a few weeks.
A few weeks you've been doing it. It's a new thing.
I wonder
box in my head.
I wonder what it is. Like,
I know.
It's interesting.
You know, it'd be great if I had a little tape of all the songs and we could have play a game. Guess what Gary's singing?
Yeah, what is Gary's song today?
It'd be great.
Won't stop believing.
This is what it sounds like. Goes.
Just go, "Hey Gary, you're saying," "Oh, okay," and I'll stop.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
That would be much more
I don't wanna
humane than this.
I don't want to control
But
you.
you're controlling me now.
I know.
And you're controlling me in front of the whole world.
Right.
Which is much more humiliating.
But this is a great story.
Yeah, I got it. Great.
Yes, it is. It's fascinating what you do.
It's what little kids do.
Yeah.
But my kids were young and they wanted to tune me out. They go,
I'm not trying to tune you out.
No, but it's like
But they would really sing maybe Jelly Bean or
Right.
Jelly Bean.
you're patient, so you're calming yourself down. And also I think you're keeping your voice from getting foggy.
I would think it'd be more the second one than the first one.
Believe me, I've analyzed this.
I'm not that, like, when you have to go do something, it doesn't not make me calm. Like, I'm not freaked out by you do what you have to do.
No, here's what it sounds like. I'll do a perfect impression. I'm good at this. So all of a sudden I get quiet and I give me, please give me a second. Nico. It's quiet for a second and you'll hear.
What's up, guys?
How you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic.
Making your debut on the show this
Oh,
morning.
yeah, you know what? I've been on a lot of shows, and you know what? I've never been on Howard, and I'm actually excited, man. You know, I've always been a big fan, but you know, I'm actually excited to get a little rapid going back and forth with Howard, you know?
You're kind of a local guy, so you know Howard pretty well.
Yeah, I actually do know him. I've been a fan for a little bit, so I'm actually excited to you know, chat with him. I actually sent Howard a couple gifts. Hopefully he got them. I sent him some you know, my own vodka, and you know, obviously I drink my own vodka. Of course. And sent him my own book and whatnot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him. Actually, and the funny and ironic, I actually met Howard's wife like last week. Yeah, actually, you know, ran into her. I didn't even know, and you know, she was so nice and cool. So I was excited to see that.
And hopefully it'll be
Hopefully the situation, right?
exactly. Good luck to that.
Yeah, take it easy, guys. Situation Nation.
Situation is a big star now. He's on MTV. He's got all the bling. He's got it all going up. You know, I thought you were.
What are you doing to the situation,
What
Gary?
you do, man? You just made love to the situation.
Situation. To do, huh?
Hey, situation. What happened? Gary almost messed up your hair.
Gary had no regard. He just put it out. He didn't even care. He's like, I believe this guy.
There's a microphone in there. That's
And
why.
why are we wearing dark glasses today?
You know what?
Me or
I
him?
actually, you know, had them on with the rain, but I picked them up when I got it.
Oh, okay.
Situation. I'm wearing my dark glasses. Don't listen to Rob.
I know, right?
You can do what you want. Situation. First of all, I thought you were physically taller.
I'm like 5'11", probably.
5'11". I thought you were about 6'3" or something.
Bigger guy.
I thought you were a bigger guy.
No, that's my other guy.
The bodybuilding, did it begin because you wanted to scare other people? You wanted to be a tougher guy? You wanted to, or was it just about chicks?
You know what? It was. I started working out when I was 16, and it was just mainly because I was always looking forward to it. It was meant to be honest, it was mainly for chicks.
Right.
When I was at that age, and I really never worried about how much I weighed. It was always the mirror, you know.
You went by the mirror.
Yeah.
And so when you work at, one of the things, I go to the gym, I would like to have abs and the whole thing, the arms, but I don't get size because everyone tells me I run too much. And when you run, it takes away muscle.
How much do you run?
Well, not that much.
He runs about a mile.
I run at the most 5 miles for the day.
You run 5 miles in a day?
Sure, well, sometimes.
Do you do any lifting?
I do lifting, but I only bench 95 pounds. I find it difficult.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know,
You almost fell off your cat.
No, I'm thinking that, you know, you should do like 30, 40 minutes cardio and treadmill
Is
or
that
something. You know, maybe on like a 4.0. I'm sure you know what it's like.
4.0 is nothing.
Exactly.
Don't do that much cardio.
No. Do 30 to 40 minutes of cardio 5 days a week. But also do an hour of weight training for each different body part.
An hour on each body part?
No.
An hour total of weight training a day.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one day off.
Right.
You know, like 5 days.
So you're doing a lot of lifting.
Yeah.
If the Jersey Shore hadn't happened to you, do you think you would have become a personal trainer? Was that the goal?
At the time, Jersey Shore wasn't even in the equation. What happened was I had lost my job. I had no money.
How old were you doing?
I was 20. I was 25 at that time.
Did you grow up in Jersey?
I was born in Staten Island and moved to New Jersey when I was like 10 or 9.
Okay, so
you were a mortgage broker.
I was a mortgage broker, okay?
In other words, if I'm buying a house, I go to you.
Yeah, and I will get you financing and then put you in a specific program, a specific rate.
This is after high school you went into?
I went into college first.
Where'd you go to college?
Brookdale Community College, New Jersey. I actually graduated with the associates and then transferred to Monmouth University, New Jersey.
So you were a regular guy. You had no visions of show business or anything?
No, not necessarily. I'll be honest with you. Obviously, always in the back of your head, there's
you had
dreams. You always have dreams and visions, but I never, acted on them until, the market crashed. I had no job, and then all I ever knew was mortgages. So what am I going to do? Go back to school and get a new profession?
Did your parents? Did your parents, were they together or they broke up?
At that time, they had just recently split up, And, you know, it was sort of like a massive.
Did you have a nice childhood?
Yeah, somewhat, to be honest with you, yeah.
Kids nice to you? Were you a popular kid?
Oh, pretty much.
Were you an athlete?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
And so, you were living kind of a normal life. I don't see...
Well, what happened was, lost the job, no money, pretty much down on my luck, unemployment, the whole nine.
Right.
And then I'm like, you know, what am I going to do with my life? I'm like, I'm 25, my parents are like, you're a disgrace. You know, just at home.
You were living at home?
So I had to move back home because I lost the house.
Oh, that's the worst feeling, isn't it?
In the back, yeah, it was horrible. So I'm like, you know what?
Were you popular with? I know now you're popular with women, but were you popular with women back then, or was it kind of like he's a loser?
No. I was somewhat popular with ladies in high
You always had a
school.
girlfriend.
Okay. And house, but and then all of a sudden I was like, you know what, man? I'm like, people have always said that I, you know, had like unbelievable abs or genetics or good stuff, and you should have done something with, like, I wasn't I was too old or something.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? You know, one day I had some girl that I was hooking up with. She took some pictures of me pretty much in my underwear.
Right.
And I sent them into New York City for fitness and underwear modeling. And sure enough, I got a number of callbacks.
Really?
End of story, I ended up getting a year contract for fitness and underwear modeling. I did underwear modeling for 2 weeks and was noticed by TV. And then I
When you say you're noticed for TV,
which means somebody referred me to go to an audition for a VH1 pilot.
I
And it was a VH1 pilot.
Now you had no agents really, right? Except for modeling stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was only doing 2 weeks.
Okay.
Only 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And then all of a sudden, the guy said, listen, there's a pilot going on or casting. You know, we think you're, you know, good for a girlfriend. So I go to...
Now hold that back up for a second. When you're an underwear model, and even when people said that you should be an underwear model, do they assume you're gay? Because there's a big issue.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The weeks that I had did it, it was sort of kind of a little bit uncomfortable for me because the photographers would come up to me and they would be like, okay, so Mike, we need to adjust you to the left. And they would sort of be approaching me. I'm like, hey, hold on, bro, I got this. I got this, bro. I got that. And I felt like, you know, I was a rookie in the business, and I didn't know if I was getting taken advantage of. I didn't know if that was the norm. So, you know, I was like, don't worry, bro, I got this. But oddly enough, I was only doing it for 2 weeks before. I had an audition for VH1 pilot, which I landed on my birthday.
But did you say to your friends, I can't go be an underwear model, and all these guys are going to come on to me, and all my friends are going to think I'm gay? And it's very important in your own world that your friends think you're straight, right?
And to be honest with you, my friends, they all know me. You know, I'm a very open guy, very forward, very confident, you know, if a dude, you know, is, like, if dudes are somewhat attracted to me, I guess, to be honest with you, I mean, it doesn't bother me one bit. Yeah, I got mass appeal, I guess.
When you're an underwear model, though, there are certain rules, because I see these ads with underwear guys. What do you do with your cock? Do you just keep it down? It seems like you gotta put it up in a way. You gotta be semi-aroused.
No. Well, what it is that that's what he was trying to tell me. The guy told me that you have to, you know, you have to adjust it at a specific point,
right?
For the picture. And
so he's gonna reach in and grab your cock and put it on your foot, but adjust it.
You know what? I guess that possibly could have been his intention, but I was like, whoa, this ain't happening. You know?
So did you adjust it?
I did myself, and then thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe this isn't for me.
Situation. You must have a big penis then, because
I am Italian.
Yeah. Do you have a big one? I seriously think
I think I'm pretty well, you know, situated.
When you were in the locker room with a lot of people, you got to...
I'm pretty well situated.
How many inches are you, would you say?
You know what? I'm definitely above average. I would have to say.
Are you 9 inches?
No, not. I'm not to say 9.
Hard, you're 6? And don't measure from your balls, measure from the base.
No, it's definitely not.
Where do you measure from? Have you ever measured your penis?
To be honest with you, I haven't measured in a while.
Bullshit, you measured it though.
I have.
All right, every guy has.
Every guy has.
And you measured from where?
A very long time ago.
You measured from?
I'll be honest with you, Howard.
Please be honest.
It's been a very long time ago.
No one is honest.
Measured my situation, so to speak. But I maybe, you know, when I was in college or whatnot.
Were you more than 6 inches?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely, yeah.
7.5, would you say?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, congratulations to you then, my friend.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
So you are this guy, you're bouncing around, you get this idea to be the underwear model, things start to take off, and you get a call from VH1 that says, hey, we might be interested in you for some sort of show.
I mean,
Which sounds
think
bizarre,
about this,
right?
Think about this.
Right.
Like, my parents are yelling at me. They're saying, listen, you need to do something with
you're
your
a
life.
bum.
You need to do this, that. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I believe in myself. I think I'm something, special, or I know something's out there, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
And my parents are like, you're crazy, this, that, and the other thing. So, but even though I got the pilot position, doesn't mean it's going to get greenlighted.
Of course. Well, let me tell you something.
And even after that, doesn't mean the show's going to be popular.
There are so many people who get on these shows, they never even get to the air. As you point out, if they get on the air, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million stars and celebrities who had their own sitcom, and now you never heard from them.
The story that I come from is just very, very unique and fairy tale.
And your parents really do love you. They're saying, look, we don't want to see your life go up in flames.
Yeah.
We're looking out for you. You've got to get over here. And this looked like a waste of time for them.
And you know what? Exactly. My father was having me put my name on the list for the New York City firefighters and the cops.
Did you take the police exam?